So here we have the World Integrated Trade Solution. And this is for 2018, 2 years before this scam. In 2018, top exporters of medical diagnostic test instruments and apparatus are European Union, 2,885,620,49, and it just gives you how much each of them spent on it. But if you can see, United States is there. And they're all, as you can have a look down that list, there's the United Kingdom, export product code 902780. And that's the same code down all of them. And it is for medical diagnostic test instrument and apparatus. And the year 2018, partner of the world, and the amount they paid. And if we look at this piece here now, you'll see just how much there is. I'll scroll through it in a second. As you can see, all these different countries, the code's the same, export the same, medical diagnostic the same, 2018 the same, world the same. It's only the amount that differs. But all the way down there was Estonia, Croatia, Vietnam, Ecuador, Bolivia, Zambia, Madagascar, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Cambodia, all countries in the world, as you just seen, bought bullshit testing kits in 2018, 2 years before it happened. Just another smoking gun. I mean, we've had enough of them, haven't we? The question is, when are you going to say, I'm not having it anymore? Enough is enough. Berlin, London, millions of them are waking up to the bullshit hoax, and the mainstream media is silent. A lot of conspiracy theories, as they would call us, but of course we all know the truth. So we're actually conspiracy investigators. And this is what I see every time I see people wearing these shitty things. And if you think back to what they actually said about them, it was, wear them in shops. But they're wearing them everywhere. So what happens when everyone turns into a conspiracy theorist? Belarus, United States, Germany, Ireland, Hong Kong, South Korea, Italy, Serbia, Bulgaria, England. Like, is it still just a conspiracy theory or asking for a friend? Don't be sucked in. Zoe and her husband are actors. You've seen them on the block. You've been conned. No pregnant woman got arrested. Please click the block picture to open it up. Now, we'll come back to that a little bit later. Meet Karen. Shopping after watching BBC News for 24 hours. News reporter. Can you tell America why the Amish haven't been affected by the bullshit? Amish gentlemen, because we don't have television. That's it. Prince Andrew. Trial of the century. Will it take place? I seriously doubt it. Will he be there? I doubt that even more. You are not crazy. You are awake in an insane world. For that exact reason, most people will call you crazy. And we all know about that, don't we? This is a post from Ben Gilroy. 2 national stories, 2 sites, same country, same cop, or is he actually a cop? Still think this is not organised incitement. It's sad that it takes back to this picture, as you can see there, picture of everyone else Heil Hitler in and one guy not, and then the picture below, of course, stupid people wearing masks and me not. Nothing to see here, just actors working, that's all, as said earlier. The nasal flu poison is due to be rolled out from the middle of October for children aged 2 to 12 years. I'll give you 2 guesses as to what's going to happen then. Nasal flu poison. Side effects: fever, pyrexia, common. Aches and pains, myalgia, common. Fatigue, malaise, very common. Headache, common. Nasal congestion, rhinoceria, very common. Bullshit symptoms: fever or chills, aches and pains, fatigue, headaches, nasal congestion, runny or stuffy nose, sometimes, common. Can you see what's going to happen? I know you can. Any person wearing this hat is not a real person. The flat hat indicates that he is a privately owned corporate police person. We have been under yet another illusion. This is what a real police officer who is on oath or attestation to serve the people wears. What if the poison has a higher death rate than the bullshit? Which it will have. Bill Gates has already come out and said 700,000 will die from the poison. If you think going to a job every day is hard work, just wait until you actually try waking people up. So true. What you see, what I see. 2019, cop chasing guy in mask. 2020, masked cop chasing guy. The world's gone crazy by design. They want everything upside down so you don't know which way to turn or what to believe. But the thing you've got to do is read yourself, research yourself, prove what you know to yourself first of all, and then you can tell everyone else. Serious question. Why are there no biohazard bins for used masks and gloves if this bullshit is so contagious and deadly? Instead of just seeing them strewn all over the floor. Bullshit deaths. Under the iceberg: unemployment, heart failure, suicides, death of children, famine, addiction, death by disease, violence. That's all coming because of the bullshit they're playing on us at the moment. Unless we stand up and say we're not having it anymore, you lot can all go to jail and we're going to run this country the way it should be run, for us and not for you, the less than 1% scumbags. This is all part of a larger agenda.
I think you're being paranoid.
Says it all really, doesn't it? Now if we go back in time a little bit here. £5 for your old cleaner, any make or condition, when you buy any new Hoover vacuum cleaner. Hoover Junior models U1036, $49.95. And as a special bonus, win a night out with Jimmy Savile. He only wanted kids or dead bodies though. Biggest overhaul of GP poison payments for 30 years under new GP contract. Now, can you see what this is going to be about before I even get into it? This is where they're bribing the doctors now. They're going to give them a massive bonus for everyone that they can poison. They'll get a big bonus for every man, woman or child they poison. That's what this is about. A radical overhaul of the way practices in England are paid for poisons, the most significant change to the system in 30 years. It's to begin from this April under the GP contract. The changes are a result of a major review of immunisations which took place last year, before the pandemic, or scamdemic. Under the plans, poisons and immunisations will become an essential service rather than additional service. In other words, they're going to try and force you to be poisoned. All practices will now be expected to offer all routine poisons and NHS travel poisons to their patients, and each practice will be required to have a named poison lead. Practices will be paid a standardised item of service fee of £10.06 for each dose of poison that they administer for 2020-2021. This payment will apply to all MMR poisons and will be rolled out to other childhood poisons in 2021-22. The fee will be fixed until 2023-24. From April 2021, there will also be incentive payments for achieving specified levels of poison coverage that will be paid via a GOF. A new poison domain will be added to the framework to reward incremental improvements in performance. In other words, we're going to bribe you to push as much poison onto the public as you can. QOF poison domain. To enable this, indicators relating to the seasonal flu poisons will be removed from the QOF and incentive payments will instead be covered at primary care network level. They will be paid from the new investment and impact fund, which will work in a similar way to the QOF and reward networks for performance. Until now, practices have only received payment for childhood poisons if they reach 70% coverage and earn an extra payment if they reach 90% of the children poisoned. Now, we've all been furloughed, haven't we? I thought, oh, well, what's furlough? Because it sounds like a military term to me. Furlough. A level of absence or vacation, especially one granted to a member of the armed forces. Did you all realise you were all members of the armed forces? You didn't realise that? Oh. Maybe you should pay attention to what they're saying. A usually temporary layoff from work. A temporary leave of absence granted to a prisoner under special circumstances. Oh, yeah, you've got a choice now. You're either in the armed forces or you're a prisoner. You can take the pick of whichever one you think you are. Such as the need to attend the funeral of family member, or for a special purpose such as participating in a work programme. Furloughed, furloughing, furloughs. To grant a furlough to terminate the employment of a worker. And it will go down here, another version of furlough. 1. Military. Leave of absence from military duty. 2. Industrial relations and HR terms. US. A temporary laying off of employees, usually because there is insufficient work to occupy them. Well, there wasn't insufficient work. We all had plenty of work to do, but they laid us off anyway. So there we go. 3. Military. To grant a furlough to industrialize. 4. Industrial relations and HR terms, US to lay off, temporary, blah, blah, blah. And then finally down here, furlough. 1. A vacation or leave of absence as one granted to a person in military service. Leave. A USU, temporary leave of work. 3. A temporary leave of absence authorised for a prisoner from a penitentiary. 4. To grant a furlough to. 5. To lay an employee or worker off for work, USE temporarily. So there you go. You've got it in black and white there. You're either in the military or you're a prisoner. Which one do you want to be? They're treating these kids like animals. Parents livid after school children made to eat outside in the rain. Pupils were left soaking wet on their first day back after trying to eat their lunch outside. Parents say their school children are being treated like animals after they were made to eat their lunch outside in the rain. Pupils starting in Year 7 and those returning to their first day after Year 11 at Unsworth Academy in Bury were told to eat outside as part of the new safety measures introduced amid the ongoing bullshit. But because of the heavy rain and wind on Wednesday, many were left soaked and unable to eat their food as they struggled to hold umbrellas while sitting outside. Families told the MNE they were not warned that lunchtime would be outside and shared the back to school risk assessment, which suggests large spaces such as the hall and dining hall would be used for wet breaks and dinners. And there it is, Unsworth Academy. But they're all like it, and most of them are even more draconian. you're sending your kids to school, you should really check it out before you do, because it is nothing like what you think it is. UN forced to admit Gates-funded poison is causing polio outbreak in Africa. This really should be one of the biggest scandals in public health, but it's given little attention, mainly because of the high-profile nature of the people and organisations involved. The United Nations has been forced to admit that a major international poison initiative is actually causing the outbreak of the very disease it was supposed to wipe out. While international organisations like the World Health Organization, who will regularly boast about supposedly eradicating polio with poisons, the opposite seems to be the case. Just bear that in mind. Their decades-long campaign to eradicate polio is now killing scores of innocent young people living in poor countries. Now it seems that health officials are beginning to admit that their plan to stop world polio is backfiring, as scores of children are being paralysed, a deadly strain of the pathogen derived from a live poison causing a virulent and of polio to spread. The poison that they're injecting or dripping into the mouth is causing the problem. And that'll be the same with this bullshit poison they're working on for everyone that they're going to try and mandate. Health officials administer polio poison to children at refugee camp in Maiduguri, Nigeria, August 28, 2016. This latest farmer-induced pandemic has broken out in the African countries of Chad and Sudan, and the culprit has been identified as poison-derived polio, their type 2. Officials now fear this new generation strain soon jump continents, causing further deadly outbreaks around the world. Still want your poison, do you? Well, they're going to make it mandatory. They're going to try and force it upon you. You're going to have to be strong to say no. Shock report. This week, CDC quietly updated bullshit numbers. Only 9,210 Americans died from the bullshit alone. Rest had different other serious illnesses and would probably have died anyway. So let's get this straight. Based on the recommendation of Dr. Fauci and BRICS, the US shut down the entire economy based on 9,000 American deaths, due entirely to the China bullshit. While many people globally have built up immunity to seasonal flu strains, bullshit is a new strain to which no one has immunity, apart from me, because, that's because it doesn't exist, of course. That means more people are susceptible to infection and some will suffer severe disease. Globally, about 3.4% of reported bullshit cases have died. By comparison, seasonal flu generally kills far fewer than 1% of those infected. And that's an absolute lie, because the actual death rate is less than 0.7%. So it's actually less than even the 1% rate that they're spouting on about there. And it's back to one of my favourite subjects, the crooked Nottingham City Council yet again. Robin Hood energy sale to British Gas. We recently announced that British Gas has purchased our business. It means that over the next few weeks and months, all of our customers, including those that we serve through our white label partners, will be moved across to British Gas. We've chosen British Gas as the new home for our customers because they've promised to look after you and to match out or beat the price of your current tariff with us. It means you'll continue to get a great deal from a supplier you can trust. Couldn't they trust you then? Clearly not. We appreciate you will have questions about what happens next. So hopefully we've got answers to all of your questions below. Most common questions, blah, 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 tariffs, blah, blah, blah. So quite clearly, Nottingham scum-sucking city corrupt council can't even run a bleeding energy company. As it says here, this is where I'm doing this because this gives you how much they've wasted of taxpayers' money. And this isn't even the full amount. Nottingham Council. Sorry as Robin Hood Energy collapses. But I'm still getting me £150,000 a year. But I did say sorry, may have said Council leader David Mellon. Said his thoughts today are with the 230 workers who will now be made redundant. When the only one, well, one of them that should be made redundant is this here. A council has apologised after losing millions of your money, public cash, in the collapse of an energy company it started. Robin Hood Energy is shutting with the loss of 230 jobs despite millions poured into it by Nottingham criminal cartel. British Gas will take on its customer base of thousands of homes in England. The council said the sale will not make up all its losses, which leaked documents suggest are £38.1 million that this bunch of crooks have spent of your money. Council leader David Mellon declined to say how much it stands to lose, saying the total from the sale will depend on how many customers switch to British Gas, because it's still your choice. Even though they're trying to push you over to there, it's still your choice. So let's just take it from the start there. £38 million by these bunch of crooked, corrupt criminals in the council. And they had the cheek just last week or the week before to go and spend, I think it was £7 million. They bought £7 million of shares in the company they already owned 100% of. This is a scam. This is a rip-off. This is them fleecing the public for money, because that £7 million will have gone into their pockets straight away, because they knew this was coming and this was planned. This is absolute corruption by Nottingham criminal cartel yet again. However, leaked documents seen by the local democracy reporting service suggest the taxpayers of Nottingham are out of pocket to the tune of £38.1 million. The confidential documents showing the sale price for the customers base on RHE is estimated by the council to be around 26 million. The final exact figure will not be known until the transfer of customers to British Gas is complete, but the 38.1 million write-off is the council's estimate. Did you hear that? Very sorry, Mr. Mellon said. I still get my £150,000 a year though, don't I? There will be significant amounts of money we won't be able to recoup. Today, my thoughts are particularly with those people facing a redundancy process. I'm very sorry that in this case, I don't hesitate to say sorry when we've got things wrong. My priority now is to get things right. And I'm still getting me £150,000 a year wages, even though I couldn't run a piss up in a brewery. 1,000 German doctors say bullshit is 100% a scam. Close to 1,000 German doctors speaking out against their governments and the WHO's official narrative. Doctors around the world joining their movement. Must watch and share. The links are there and the links are in the description if you want to see the video, as with everything. $500,000 bullshit deaths was absurd. We are being duped, says Richard Madeley. This week, a friend told me about an elderly relative who died a few weeks ago from emphysema. The poor man, a lifelong smoker, had been slowly suffocating for a year or more. He wasn't expected to make it past May. Sure enough, he died before the month was out of emphysema. But his death certificate recorded that he'd been carried off by bullshit. A blood test a very few days before his death showed the patient had the made-up crap, although he wasn't displaying symptoms of anything other than the lung condition about to kill him. On Wednesday, Public Health England, surely the most unfit for purpose organisation in the land, finally admitted what many others have long suspected. Large numbers of deaths attributed to bullshit were in fact completely unrelated to the disease. A whopping great 10%, in fact. So down goes the death toll from the stuff at a stroke, from 46,000 to 41,000. And you'll find the majority of them aren't from it either. It also emerged that England's death rate has been falling a lot faster than official figures showed. Oh my God, you mean they've been lying to us? Who'd have thought? In fact, it looks now as if the country had its first completely death-free day on Thursday, August 6th. We have consistently, and I'd say flagrantly, overestimated the threat of bullshit, starting with the absurd prediction of 500,000 deaths by Imperial College London's Professor Neil Ferguson, who should be in jail because of him, this country's been brought to his knees. Because of him, he should be in jail. Neil Ferguson should be in jail. Data experts who later reviewed the computer code used in the professor's model described it as a mess which would get you fired in private industry. Well, I'm classing that as deliberate, and therefore he should definitely be in jail. And what's more, every time he's done a model, he has been incorrect by huge amounts every single time. But they still go to him every time because they want the bullshit that he's going to give out.
If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic and/or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent. For the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Joseph Goebbels.
Strong person. A strong person knows how to keep their life in order. Even with tears in their eyes, they still manage to say, I'm okay, with a smile. Send this to a strong person. I just did. God is good. Change is coming. God saw your sadness and said, hard times are over. If you believe in him, send this to 10 people, including me. Watch what happens in 30 minutes. Be honest and send this to anyone who made you smile this year. It may surprise you how many you get back. Thanks for making me smile. Live, laugh, love. Preston City Council. Absolutely no dancing. It is against the law, no it's not, for persons to dance due to the increased risk of spreading bullshit. Persons who dance will be asked to leave the premises. Thank you for your cooperation. Now, anyone see a way around that? Well, quite simple. Stop being a person. You're not a person. A person's the identity they give you when your mother and father registered you after your birth. So if you stop being a person, where it says it is against the law, well, it's not, but for persons, not for men or women, just for persons, just for your corporation to dance. Persons who dance will be asked to leave. So stop being a person, be a man, be a woman, and you can say up yours to this corrupt council. Well, they're all corrupt, aren't they? As we've just heard about Nottingham criminal cartel. Since it started raining, all my wife has done is look through the living room window. If it gets any worse, I'll have to let her back in. Some people are like old TVs. They need to be slapped a few times to get the effing picture. I almost caught bullshit yesterday, but I quickly stood on a social distancing sticker and put an end to that shit. How much is it? Justice. It varies. You just keep putting money in until you're broke and hope for the best. My missus has just told me to pack my bags and F off. As I walked out the door, she screamed, I hope you spend the rest of your life in misery, boredom and pain. I said, make your mind up. 1 minute you're telling me to F off and now you want me to stay.
Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.